So Ajahn Chunda spoke recently about the calm before the storm, and today the calm is coming to an end and the storm is beginning, which will be with us for about another week or so, and we'll have a storm of people and a storm of activity here in the monastery that will gradually escalate up until next Sunday when we have our Katina ceremony, and over the next week we'll be having many monks and many lay people coming to stay in the monastery, and there will be a lot more activity than we're normally used to. So it's always good when we have these kinds of experiences, these kinds of maybe more intense experiences. It's always important to pay attention to how it affects our mind, because we will learn a lot about ourselves by observing how our mind responds to unusual circumstances or kind of stressful circumstances. And we tend to, respond with some of our, most basic defilements, kind of default negative mind states of greed, hatred, and delusion. So some people in this kind of situation might tend to feel very excited, excited to be around a lot of new people and new activities, and excited to interact with many people, and really looking forward to it. Some people might be irritated that, we have to deal with all these people and be around all this noise, and we might think that this isn't really what a monastery is supposed to be like. Some people might feel anxious and afraid, worrying about what it will be like. All of these mind states, they're all unwholesome in that they agitate the mind. They move the mind away from a place of real peace and real happiness. Even if we're looking forward to the event, in the midst of that excitement, the mind is not really truly at ease. There's an agitation even in that state. So, our practice over the coming week is the same as it always is, learning how to be at ease with whatever arises, learning how to be balanced and present with whatever mental states are arising. But in this next period, it may just be a bit more difficult for us. And I always remember, from living in Thailand, I think one of the best examples of, really the most skillful way of dealing with these kind of really big events is Luang Por Liam, the abbot of Wat Pah Pong, who I've always found to be just one of the most inspiring monks that I've ever met, and really has one of the most inspiring demeanors in the way that he kind of moves around and carries himself. And if you watch him really anytime, but especially in the midst of these very big events, he's a great example of just being completely at ease in the midst of a really big storm. And I can remember a number of years ago I was at Wat Pah Pong when the Prime Minister of Thailand actually came to Wat Pah Pong to pay respects to Luang Por Liam and make offerings to him. And it was a really big event, a really big deal. And the Prime Minister brought with him like hundreds of really important people to meet with Luang Por Liam. And, most everyone would have been affected by that kind of situation, especially if you were the senior monk. Excitement, aversion, fear, almost everyone would have been kind of shaken by those emotions. But of course, Luang Por Liam is, on that day, he was the same as he always is, just completely at ease, completely, no aversion, didn't seem to have any kind of anxiety or discomfort, but he also didn't seem to be excited at all. He didn't really seem to be longing for something or craving something. He just seemed to be perfectly happy with just being present in that moment. So this is an ideal that we can aspire to work towards over the next period. I'll offer that for reflection.